Welcome to This Week on Main Street. I'm Chris Owens along with Perry Williams, and here for our weekly time slot, running down a lot of what's happening in and around Noblesville, specifically downtown Noblesville. And for once, the sun's out today. So
we haven't seen that much.
But in all seriousness, we are on the heels of two very successful events that kind of kick off the start of our programming year. On Friday night, we saw several hundred members of our community out and about on a beautiful evening in downtown Noblesville. And I know you were staffing the old Lacey building,
Yes.
where the Boys and Girls Club used to be. I received several compliments, but I think you did as well. I think it was a good evening in downtown.
Oh, absolutely. It was a great evening, and then the after party at Sid's and the pre-party at Ray Adler's building. I think it all worked out really great. You know, and that's one of my favorite times is especially this first weekend by having the upstairs downtown and then the market the next day. The upstairs downtown, you know, when you walk down the street in Noblesville, you always kind of wonder what's up above.
Yeah.
So one time a year we give people the opportunity to do that.
It was a great evening, and do want to say thank you to our sponsors for the evening, the firm of Adler, Tessner, and Whalen. They are located in the appropriately in the Adler building,
Yes.
which half our community still knows as a church and half know as an office building.
Which is owned by Ray Adler.
Exactly. But that's really their community focus night, and I know their staff loves to be out about and visiting with people. We saw some great reaction to a lot of the properties. We had a really unique opportunity this year with two residents of the Richwine Apartments opening their apartments to the community to tour. It just so happens they are engaged, and so they kind of got his version of the story and her version of the story, and then we're able to interact with them. But some of the other properties, the HMC screen printing building, if you haven't been to the third and even the roof there, very unique perspective. The apartment above the Wild Bookstore was on the tour this year, as were some other properties, including Noblesville Main Street, FF&S, the Kaler building. And so just really want to say thank you to everyone who came out to support the event, and all those building owners who took the time. It's a lot to ask because you know, technically, if your business closes at 5 p.m., there were some people waiting there with bated breath and tickets on to get in and see those properties. So, having a little bit of experience being on the historic home tour, you know, I can sympathize with a little bit of what they've gone through. But it was a good evening and very fortunate weather-wise. Obviously, it's something we'll look to continue in the future. And then the next morning, as you mentioned, we kicked off the 2016 Farmers Market in the overflow lot next to Riverview Health. And we saw some sunshine. It was in spurts, and then we had some other weather challenges. But I think we had over 65 vendors in 80 spots for the opening week, and just really, even though it was a little bit cold and a little bit rainy, still encouraging to see people out and about.
Yeah, and I thought we had a fine mix of products, especially for you people who are looking for gardening and doing those things and planting flowers. We had some great looking planters and hanging baskets.
You say you people, and then that would infer my wife, who, you know, glad it was Mother's Day last weekend and we could support local business.
Absolutely.
One of the cool things I found last week was one of our vendors had morels.
Yeah.
And so took it upon myself last night to wash those and bread them and fry them, and hoping there's going to be more out there this weekend. But again, it one of those programs that we offer on a weekly basis now through it'll be the middle of October, and really fortunate to be back at Riverview Health. They've been a great host for us.
Yeah, and you know, and the food court, has expanded, and you got several new vendors. I mean, Mateo's is back here this year.
Mm-hmm. Got the breads and the oils.
You got the breads and the oils, and you know that. What, Skillman's Farms?
Skillington Farms. Back
they
again
have
this year.
Nice breakfast.
We had a comment on social media after we posted shortly after the market opened that wanted to know what time Bethuse would start serving egg rolls, and
yeah,
they're hot and ready at 8 o'clock. So start the line then and get in while you can.
You know, the one thing about it, the egg rolls, I happened to walk down there and it caught me. You know, I wasn't going to get any, and it kind of reached over and grabbed me to get 3. Of course,
Probably glad you did now.
yeah, and of course, Elena, she really likes them. She buys the big box.
Yeah. And I may have visited Texi Mexi as well, and their chorizo breakfast taco.
She's always a good to have back. A lot of great places. And I think Sunrise, the Uptown Sunrise, were they not there?
They were there as well. Rosie's was there. So great opportunity to join us this Saturday again from 8 a.m. to noon. Again, probably going to be a little bit of a challenge with the weather, but don't let that keep you away. And then we'll be announcing some special days coming up at the Farmers Market throughout the rest of the summer via the show, via our Facebook site, and some of the other social media that we do. And then, of course, a couple things that debuted this last weekend were the Fresh Bucks program, and that's tied to SNAP benefits, Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program. We do redeem those cards at the Noblesville Main Street tent, right about the middle of the midway, right by the food court. So if that's something your family uses, feel free to redeem those for some fresh local produce through our tent. And then this was the first weekend for Fresh Bucks, which essentially doubles that contribution on produce, things grown from the ground. So again, somebody who uses those benefits can come to the market and run their card for $20, but receive $40 in really supplemental nutritional assistance. And it's a pretty exciting thing. I got the opportunity to work our booth and visit with a few folks who are out there for that express purpose, and really glad that both of those opportunities have afforded themselves to us over the last couple of years. And then, of course, our partnership with farmersmarket.com. We're getting more and more vendors signing up to offer their products online, and again, use our Saturday market as that pickup location. I believe the deadline is midnight on Tuesday. So we could implement a new feature every week. I could review my order after I submit it if you so want, but probably not as much fun as if you go there and do that yourself.
Absolutely, and it was a those are good programs that we have the opportunity to offer, and those are the kind of things we want to do for our community to offer those various programs. So that's a wonderful thing. Heard a lot of positive comments about us looking for those type of programs to help people.
And that's just week one. We've got 23 more weeks, of the farmers market coming up. So that's just two of the events that have kind of kicked off our summer. We've got a lot more coming up to talk about, and we'll do so right after this.
When Margaret and I decided to sell the old estate here, we had only one choice in signage: Logan Street signs and banners. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore, but rather located on 10th Street on the south side of Noblesville. Well, we sold the old beauty, and we were able to buy this wonderful estate. And we had so much money left over, I was able to buy this beautiful 1968 Eldorado Cadillac for Margaret. Only 472,000 miles. Margaret loves it because it's got those big seats and that heavy-duty suspension to support her svelte frame. Next time you're looking for signs or banners, call old Jim at Logan Street Signs and Banners, 773-7200. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore.
Well, we're back, and as you can see, Chris had to step out for a second. He'll be right back up here. Well, there's Chris.
Time flies when you're having fun.
That's right.
So we were just talking about some of the other things we've got coming up this summer, and really the next big event is the kickoff to our Music and All That Jazz series, and that'll be on Thursday, May the 26th. I hope I'm getting my dates right without a calendar in front of me. We'll host the Noblesville High School Student Jazz finals out on the northeast corner of the courthouse lawn. And then After that, we will have the bed race. One of kind of we call it the quintessential Noblesville weekend.
Yeah. You know, the one thing, Chris, that you might want to talk about a little bit, we were struggling these last few years of trying to make ends meet on all that jazz. And when we announced that it was very close to its death, we had some community people step up, and there's all kinds of opportunities we have. Not only that, obviously we could use sponsorship to help us along. You might want to talk about that.
Yeah, I think you make a great point about that, Perry, and do want to say thanks to not only Greg O'Connor and his family for helping step up and support that jazz series, that fixture in downtown, but also Gaylor Electric and Chuck Goodrich and their crew for what they do. They're heavily involved in this community and expanding their facility as well. So that's good. That means more people in Noblesville, more exposure. To get into the business side of things, we certainly appreciate their support. And Noblesville Main Street is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We are funded primarily through membership support. And we have several different levels of membership support, starting at $75 with an individual or family membership. For $100, we offer a small business membership, so up to 9 employees, or a nonprofit. We have several nonprofit members throughout the community that we try to turn around and support as well. And then a business of 10 or more qualifies for a large business membership, and that's $250. In addition to that, we have really 4 or 5, if you will, sponsorship package options. Those all contain some sort of a la carte option where you can piece together a sponsorship package to basically tailor to your audience. So if you're looking for the most exposure and the street dance is your focus, we can certainly tailor something to that. We most recently have announced the Meals from the Market series. We talked about it last week, and we have a presenting sponsor for that. But there's all sorts of opportunity for us to help you place your organization in front of the community. And last year we did over 80 cultural arts events with display opportunities and programs in downtown. That will scale back a little bit this year with the reduction of appearances based on the Thursday market. But what that's going to allow us to do is to market on more of a one-on-one basis. And so really excited to have Peterson Architecture as the presenting sponsor for the Meals from the Market series, and happy to engage in discussion about any of this at any time. We've recently, based on the demand for programming and what we do in the community, we've got an opportunity for a sponsor to come in and create some exposure through a company vehicle that we now have for Noblesville Main Street. So again, happy to discuss any of that at any time, but certainly without the support of our sponsors and many of the companies downtown, it would be hard for us to do what we do. And hopefully now, year 2 of this, people are starting to see the return on their investment, the fact that we are really trying to create awareness of all the opportunities available in our community.
Absolutely, absolutely. And of course, later on the year, we got another big project with the duck race and all those things that we're always looking for sponsors. And of course, we got the street dance, which pretty much we could still use some more sponsors for that.
Oh, absolutely.
We got the big sponsors, but
I think companies are all concerned, obviously, with their marketing spend, but we have supporting sponsorships in the $250 and $500 level. That 2 or 3 of those go a long way in helping us execute those events. So certainly appreciative of all the support that we receive, and always willing to entertain and talk about more. I told somebody the other day, I said, this is the fun time of the year. This is the time of year where it gets crazy. In the last few months, we've been doing, all kinds of paperwork and going through the city and the county and even the Indiana Department of Transportation and the Board of Health and all the things you have to do in direction of an event. But now we actually get to be out in front of the community. We've had a
It's
planning
kind of
meeting.
where the rubber meets the road now.
It really is. It really is. And I'm excited about our representation out at the farmers market and what Kristen is going to be able to help people do out there, not to mention Paul Wood and his efforts. And then a couple other things that we've got coming up that aren't direct Noblesville Main Street initiatives, but do bear a mention is Serve Noblesville is coming up June 22nd, through 25th. And we had a planning meeting yesterday. I know they are looking for team leaders. We're fortunate to be on the planning committee for Serve Noblesville, and it's a great outreach project that happens over the course of those 4 days or so, along with many of the churches and the faith community in Noblesville. We have a list of over 30 projects that we're going to try to complete this year, and each project needs a team leader. The planning committee tries to float and be representative of all projects happening on a given day. Somebody said, what does a team leader entail? It's really just helping coordinate the day of activities. So there's a morning kickoff that happens out at the Hamilton County Fairgrounds, and then you group by project or by site, and everyone travels to that site. Once everyone arrives, then there's the opportunity to have the project leader divide and conquer, if you will, some of the responsibilities, be it painting or landscaping, repair. So we're really in the recruitment phase for project leaders right now for those 30 plus projects. In the coming weeks, we'll start to recruit for general volunteers. If you want to learn more, the Serve Noblesville, can't remember their website off the top of my head, but just Google Serve Noblesville, and they also have a Facebook page. Information is also contained on noblesvillemainstreet.org, and would be happy to connect you. And then once we finish that little project, that little weekend project, we'll be into the July 4th parade, and the street dance are only 5 days away from each other this year. So looking forward to it. It's going to be busy. Always happy to entertain questions and help connect people. Everything that we discuss on the show is contained on our Noblesville Main Street website, noblesvillemainstreet.org. Most of it is repurposed or even mentioned even more through our Facebook page. So thanks for joining us this week. We'll see you next week, This Week on Main Street.